Pack your things. You're done here." The words cut through the air like a blade. Lisa Carter, a hard-working single mother, felt her stomach drop as she stared at Richard Vaughn, the CEO of Vaughn Enterprises. The cold expression on his face told her everything. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a decision. Lisa's fingers tightened around the edges of the report she had just prepared, a multi-million-dollar project proposal that she had spent weeks perfecting. She had sacrificed sleep, missed her son's soccer games, and poured her heart into her work. And now, she was being discarded like trash. "But why?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Richard leaned back in his plush leather chair, adjusting the gold cufflinks on his tailored suit. His smirk was infuriating. "No reason necessary. The company's restructuring. It's business, Lisa." Lisa's heart pounded. "I have a son to support. You know that. I've worked for this company for 8 years. I was up for a promotion." Richard shrugged. "Life isn't fair." The security guard at the door stepped forward, a silent signal. Tears burned in Lisa's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Clenching her jaw, she stood tall, squared her shoulders, and marched out of the office. As she stepped onto the bustling New York sidewalk with a cardboard box of her belongings, one thought burned in her mind. "One day, Richard Vaughn, you will regret this." Lisa sat in her tiny apartment that night, staring at the eviction notice on the kitchen table. Her 8-year-old son, Jake, was asleep in the next room, unaware of the storm about to hit their lives. The weight of the day settled on her chest. Unemployed, no severance, bills piling up. Her hands trembled as she scrolled through job listings on her laptop. Nothing close to what she had at Vaughn Enterprises. No calls back, no interviews. It was as if Richard had blacklisted her from the industry. A single tear slipped down her cheek. But then, something inside her hardened. "No, I won't be defeated." Lisa wasn't just fighting for herself, she was fighting for Jake, for every single mother who had been told they weren't enough. That night, instead of giving in to despair, she opened a blank document and started writing down every skill, every strength, every contact she had. If the corporate world wouldn't hire her, she'd build her own empire. Lisa spent the next few weeks hustling like never before. She reached out to old colleagues, networked online, and even started offering consulting services from her tiny apartment. It wasn't easy. Some nights she barely slept 4 hours, balancing freelance work, job applications, and being a mother. But then, an opportunity. One of her former clients, Ethan Caldwell, a venture capitalist, remembered her brilliance in business strategy. "Lisa, if you had the chance to run your own firm, would you take it?" he asked over a coffee meeting. Lisa didn't hesitate. "Absolutely." Ethan believed in her vision. With his backing, Lisa launched her own consulting firm, Carter Strategies. She started small, helping startups grow, but word spread fast. Her strategies were gold. Within a year, her company was booming, and then came the moment she never saw coming. One of her clients, a major tech firm, approached her with an opportunity. "We're looking to acquire a struggling company, Vaughn Enterprises." Lisa's breath caught in her throat. Richard Vaughn's empire was crumbling, and she was about to own it. Lisa sat at the head of a sleek, glass conference table, her fingers laced together as she studied the documents before her. The acquisition deal was nearly complete. Vaughn Enterprises, the very company that had fired her without cause, was now on the brink of collapse. A mix of poor leadership, reckless spending, and a tarnished reputation had driven it into the ground. And now, Lisa had the power to buy it outright. She took a deep breath. This was personal, but it was also business. She wasn't here just to get revenge, she was here to build something better. The doors swung open, and in walked Richard Vaughn. He looked different, stressed, a little older, weaker. The cocky smirk he always wore was replaced by a look of desperation. His eyes flicked up, and when he saw Lisa sitting at the table, his eyes widened in shock. "You?" he muttered, stopping mid-step. Lisa leaned back in her chair, a slow smile spreading across her face. "It's been a while, Richard." Silence. Richard slowly sat down across from her. His arrogance was gone. He knew he was at her mercy. "Lisa, let's talk about this," he began. She tilted her head. "You mean like the way you talked before firing me without cause?" Richard swallowed hard. He knew he had no leverage. Lisa owned the deal now. "I made a mistake," he admitted, voice low. "But we can fix this together. I can help you run the company." Lisa let out a soft chuckle. "Oh, Richard, you misunderstand." She slid the papers toward him. "I don't need your help. I own Vaughn Enterprises now. You're done." His face drained of color. You're firing me?" Lisa stood up, smoothing out her blazer. "No, Richard, I'm just giving you what you gave me." And with that, she walked out of the room, leaving him speechless, powerless, and exactly where he had left her a year ago. Richard Vaughn sat frozen in his chair. His empire, his life's work, was no longer his. The same woman he had humiliated and cast aside was now his replacement. Lisa walked through the grand halls of Vaughn Enterprises, now hers to command. Employees who once feared Richard's outbursts now looked at her with cautious hope. She called for a company-wide meeting. As the employees gathered, whispers filled the room. They had heard the rumors. Lisa Carter, the woman Vaughn fired, was now their new CEO. She stepped onto the stage, took a deep breath, and addressed them. "I know change can be scary, but let me be clear. This company is no longer a place of fear. It's a place of growth. We will rebuild, and we will thrive." The room erupted into applause. For the first time in years, there was hope. Meanwhile, Richard Vaughn's downfall wasn't just professional. His reputation was ruined. News spread fast about the CEO who fired a single mother without cause, only for her to buy his company out from under him. His business connections turned their backs on him. Investors he once controlled refused to take his calls. He was toxic in the corporate world. For the first time in his life, he was powerless. One day, Lisa received an unexpected email. Subject: request for employment. It was from Richard Vaughn himself. Lisa stared at the screen for a long moment before closing the email. Some lessons in life don't need a response. Lisa not only turned Vaughn Enterprises around, she turned it into a powerhouse. She implemented family-friendly policies, ensuring no single parent would ever face what she did. She promoted fairness, rewarded talent, and built an empire stronger than Richard Vaughn ever had. One evening, as she walked into her home, she found her son, Jake, waiting with a big smile. "Mom, you're in the news again," he said, holding up a tablet. The headline read, "Single Mom CEO Turns Ex-Boss's Company into a Billion-Dollar Giant." Lisa chuckled, pulling Jake into a hug. "Remember, sweetheart, karma always comes around."